Hey guys, before we start, we're giving away a replica Cal Kestis lightsaber from Neo Sabers when we reach 10,000 subscribers. All you need to do is head over to the video What If Qui-Gon Survived and like and comment on it. There is a link to it in the description below, or check it out on our channel page. Also check out Neo Sabers for cool lightsabers at an affordable price. Our story begins on Geonosis, where Count Dooku, Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi face each other in a standoff. As Anakin rushes the Sith, Count Dooku uses Force lightning to propel him across the room. But instead of leaving him dazed in the corner, he pulls out his lightsaber and throws it at him, stabbing Anakin through the chest and killing him. Obi-Wan screams and runs towards Dooku, igniting his blue lightsaber and swinging with all of his might. Although channeling his hatred into his dueling ability, making Obi-Wan even more powerful, he was far less powerful than Count Dooku. Dooku was able to paralyze Kenobi in place, stabbing his arm and legs before thrusting the lightsaber through his abdomen. Yoda walks around the corner to find their two corpses, as Dooku marches onto his ship so that he isn't forced into a conflict with Master Yoda. Yoda sat next to them and mourned their deaths. This would completely change the future of the Star Wars galaxy. As Dooku traveled to Coruscant to meet his master, he told him of the news of Anakin and Obi-Wan's deaths. He expected praise and rewards, but Palpatine lashed out, screaming at the top of his lungs that Anakin was at the center of his plans and now he is dead. Raising his hands, he shot lightning at Dooku. He fell to the floor in agony. In this moment, he didn't have a plan, as the dark side completely shone through, taking full control of Sidious. Dooku was taken into another room to be chained to the wall. His pain had only just begun. For the next few months, Count Dooku would be tortured for the killing of the two Jedi. Palpatine would only let him out a few times if he desperately needed something done. He continued with his original plan with the Clone Wars. It started off great, winning countless battles across the galaxy. Sidious needed to conjure a new plan. He knew he had the clones and Order 66, but his prized possession in Anakin was dead. After about a year of the same things occurring in the galaxy, something miraculous happened which changed Palpatine's plans on everything. His old Padawan Darth Maul had returned from the depths of hell, ready to serve him again. This act of loyalty and strength to come back after losing so badly brought a smile to Palpatine's face. Knowing he was only allowed one apprentice, he needed to find out who was stronger and more capable of holding the title Sith Lord. Palpatine brought them together to duel each other to the death. Whoever won would become Palpatine's rightful heir and apprentice. As they both stand before each other, they ignite their lightsabers. Maul was the aggressor and came forward swinging at Dooku with all of his might. Dooku was by far a more experienced dueler, using Form 2 to try and piece through Maul's defenses. Although different to what Dooku was used to, Maul's defense was his offense. Continuing to strike at Dooku, Maul's blood rushed as he threw his lightsaber around the room and used the Force in whichever way possible. When he was Palpatine's apprentice, he was taught everything in the Force except lightning. Perhaps if he defeats Dooku, his master will teach him Force lightning in the way he always dreamed of. In the end, it was Maul's passion for the dark side that prevailed. He wanted it more than Dooku. For 10 years he had been dreaming and coming up with this moment in his mind. His hatred and strength was superior to the weakened Dooku, who had spent months in a cage being tortured. Maul disarmed Dooku and decapitated him. Maul became Palpatine's new apprentice once again. On Coruscant, Ahsoka Tano had just become a Padawan and needed a master to teach her the ways of the Force. With Anakin dead, she had to be assigned to someone new. During the beginning of the Clone Wars, Mace Windu had felt like he always wanted a partner to help him on missions and the battlefield, He requested to Yoda that he could have a Padawan learner. Yoda agrees, explaining that he will pick the best in the class. The next day, Ahsoka was assigned to Mace Windu to become his Padawan. Ahsoka grew extremely powerful under Mace's training. They would go on countless missions together, growing a strong bond. Windu taught Ahsoka the Form 7 variant of a pod, which he created himself. He created it in order to help channel his dark side energy towards the light, and become a stronger duelist and Force user. Ahsoka excelled at this form of fighting. Before long, the lightsaber crystal would turn purple as well, causing her to wield a purple lightsaber along with her master. When word of Maul's return and Dooku's death reached the Council, it troubled them heavily. Maul had become a sign of death and evil in the Order, which terrified most to their core. He wreaked havoc across the galaxy for years during the Clone Wars, annihilating worlds and entire civilizations. The Jedi saw that Maul was on Mandalore and had taken it and claimed it in the name of the Separatists. It seemed that his master Darth Sidious had ordered Maul to go to Mandalore. Mace Windu and Ahsoka Tano were also sent to Mandalore to bring Maul to justice. As they arrived, they found and located Darth Maul. Igniting their lightsabers, they told him he was under arrest. Maul stood from his throne and ignited his double-bladed lightsaber. Rushing at the two Jedi, he danced around the room with his blade in hand. The double-bladed lightsaber made the Jedi more cautious, as they couldn't misplace their blade or lower their focus, as it would result in their deaths. As they fought, Ahsoka was showing her new abilities in the Force, actually gaining the upper hand before Mace could. But it was Windu who capitalized on the errors of Maul, and Windu kicked his lightsaber out of his hand, sending Maul to his knees. Once again, they told him he was under arrest as clone troopers entered the room with handcuffs. This was a massive turn in the tides of the war. Suddenly, Darth Maul was supposedly off the board, being taken to Coruscant for questioning, and the Republic had taken Mandalore back from the Separatists, pleading to always defend them. Palpatine decided that it was time to execute Order 66, with Maul coming to Coruscant. He was able to turn a bad situation into arguably the best one possible. He had no vision of how the war would end after Anakin's death, but with Maul coming to Coruscant, he would be right where he needed him. Maul was sent to prison for crimes against the Republic. As he was on his way to the cell, with clone troopers surrounding him, Palpatine opens his comlink within his office and mutters the words, "Execute Order 66. Suddenly the clones around Maul stop and release him. They have new orders and objectives. Unlocking his chains, they give him his lightsaber and leave the prison. Maul was extremely confused with what was happening. He had never been told of his master's great plan, in case he was arrested and tortured to tell the truth. Darth Maul left the prison to see flames at the Jedi Temple. Becoming even more confused, he decided he should go to his master's office. Sneaking through the city with his hood up, he made it into the building. Finding his office, he entered. As Maul entered Palpatine's office, he immediately saw the colors of purple and green. Mace Windu, Ahsoka Tano, and Yoda were already there, lightsabers ignited, threatening the Sith Lord. With the sound of the doors opening, the three Jedi looked behind them to see Darth Maul. It was obvious how he had escaped prison. Palpatine declared that the Jedi were destroyed, and that it was the Sith's time to build and rule an empire. He stepped forward and ignited his lightsaber, with his apprentice Darth Maul swiftly following. Together, the 5 Force users engaged in a duel, resulting in the fate of the galaxy. This was one of the most talented groups of people to ever live, swinging their different colored lightsabers around the room. As they fought with fury and passion, the flames in the Jedi Temple could be heard behind them, where Jedi were falling to clone troopers. Palpatine was able to use his knowledge and mastery of all 7 forms of lightsaber combat to squeeze Ahsoka until she was separated from Mace and Yoda. Without anyone to protect her, she wasn't able to last long, as Palpatine struck her through the chest, killing her. This stunned the Jedi, as Mace blocked the incoming strike from Palpatine. Continuing in the duel, Yoda and Mace knew they had to step it up. Synchronizing their force powers, the two Jedi raised their arms and pushed Palpatine into the wall, disorientating him momentarily. This gave them enough time to fully focus on Darth Maul. When Yoda began leaping across the room, Maul couldn't keep up with the immense speed both Jedi possessed. Yoda disarmed Maul, and Mace sliced him across the chest and killed him. Palpatine got to his feet and whined. As they engaged in their fight once more, Palpatine's anger rose. He couldn't lose like this, it was too easy, but there was nothing he could do. The two Jedi were far more powerful when they fought together. Palpatine was backed up into a corner as Yoda delivered the final strike and killed Darth Sidious. Mace Windu and Yoda had won, but the Jedi had suffered immensely. They returned to the Jedi Temple to help out as best as they could, and eventually the clone troopers were defeated. With no Sith at the temple like Anakin to command the troopers and deliver a devastating number of kills himself, the Jedi were actually able to fight back and win. The Jedi Order would slowly rebuild after losing thousands of members. They had won the Clone Wars and shut down all clone and droid productions. The galaxy would be safe from the Sith and the Empire for generations to come. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to enter the lightsaber giveaway, the links are in the description and we will be choosing a winner at the end of the month. I think having Maul return and come to Palpatine was an interesting idea. After Dooku had killed his prized possession in Anakin, he would be furious and just go ballistic. If Maul returned and fought Dooku, it would have resulted in Dooku's death, and it also just makes for a better and more interesting story. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comments below. If you would like to see specific what ifs, just comment your ideas below and we will get to them as soon as possible. Thank you all for watching, and may the Force be with you.